In my last video, I talked about my interest in costume design, and since I am double majoring, I thought I would show off my other major and tell you about my I'm going to show you most of my rocks. I do have a vase of rocks and marbles and geodes from when I was a kid, but this is more, I made these little cards for all of them. Very fun. The one we're going to be looking at today is scoria. Now, scoria is a volcanic rock that is full of all of these little air pockets. It's kind of like if you know Pompeii, it's when you've got those big dust clouds. This is kind of what, when you've got a less lava erosion, or not, less lava, more dust, and it's just kind of go, yeah, it's super lightweight. I've got two different ones here. This one's a bit more weathered, and has less iron. Iron is usually what makes rocks red. Which is actually something I've been thinking about. I was just watching the Spiderwick show, and that has the old world fairies that are allergic to iron, and iron is everywhere in nature. It's one of the most common mineral or elements in the earth. So I don't know, just something I've been thinking about, how that would actually work in real life. These ones, I believe, a friend got for me in Oregon. Up next is nice. Nice. Pronounced nice like the word nice, but it's spelled with a G. A lot of puns around nice, and I'm honestly a little over it. This one is nice. I believe this is just a rock I found by a river or a beach. And gneiss is a medium grade metamorphic rock, and you can tell that it's medium because it's got these chunky stripes as metamorphic rocks, as the pressure and heat increase, they get these stripes, and then the stripes get all squiggly. And you can't see it super well when it's dry, but it's pretty cool. This one is green schist. You can tell because it's green. This is when you get a mafic rock, which is a rock that comes from deep within the earth. It's still igneous, but it's from magma, not lava. Because the igneous rocks have this color grade that goes pink, white, gray, black, green. And then where pink is closest to the surface and green is furthest from the surface. So this is and you've got felsic is pink, and then green is mafic. And this is when a mafic rock gets metamorphized. It's green schist. Now this one I'm not 1,000% sure that it is green schist, but I don't know. It's green. This is another one that I found just while I was outside, so I don't really know exactly what it is, but I don't know. It's also pretty difficult to tell because I don't have any fancy microscopes or tools, so I'm kind of just going based off of vibes. Normally, if you want to ID a rock, you can do hardness tests, or some rocks react with acid. If they have calcium, they'll fizz up, and then you can also grind them down into a thin section, which is, I believe we do it 30 microns thick, which is where you can shine light through, and different minerals react differently to plain light and polarized light. A bunch of different things you can do, but all I have is the internet. So this is green aventurine. It is a type of quartz that has had some big influences, although it might be jade. I'm not really sure. Again, it's hard to tell with just my eyes. This is one I bought, but my My mom threw away all my ID cards, saying that I should be able to identify them myself. I don't know, it's hard to tell because jade usually has more color variation, and this one is pretty monochromatic, which makes me think it is more of a quartzy type thing. Um, but I'm not really sure. And again, it's polished, so that's really makes it really hard to tell because color is not a very reliable way to ID minerals. Because it's very easy for a mineral to be tainted and for that to change the color. So the really best way is easiest way to test is by the cleavage and fracture, which is the shape it grows and breaks in, and the hardness. But can't really do that with this one. So yeah, I mean, I guess I say green adventurine, but I don't know for sure because it is. It's yeah, this one is a bit of an enigma because it's got this like jade texture where it is kind of porous, but it doesn't really have jade color. I don't know. Let me know what you think. This one is andesite. This is one I collected I had to hike up to the top of a mountain and then hammer it off for a class. Andesite is another volcanic rock. It's yeah, volcanic, fairly felsic. It's got these small grains. Pretty, not super interesting, but again, I had to. It's one of the first field trips I went on for a geology class, so it was pretty. And then we collected samples and studied them, so it was pretty cool. I did the card because it was like, oh, it's September, it's still pretty warm, it'll be fine. And then we went up on the mountain and it was so windy, and like the temperature by itself was fine, but it was so windy, it was freezing. I was like one of the only people that brought gloves, and it oh gosh, yeah, that was that was a rough field trip. Um, Also, yeah, we were told not to bring food because they were supposed to be not catered, but I don't know. The food they supplied was really, really bad. And so I just kind of ate snacks all day. So this is zoisite. This is another one that I bought. It is a metamorphic rock. It's got these really pretty green and black patterns. For some whatever reason, when I'm in a shop, I'm most attracted to green minerals. I don't know why. It's just I don't know. Although I do find mafic rocks interesting, so I guess that could be part of it. Yeah, it's got these really pretty colors. Ignore my nasty hands. I've been doing a lot of crafting last couple days, and I burned my finger on a toaster right before filming this. It forms in plagioclases near hydrothermal activity, so that's very cool. So this one is sodalite. This is another one that I bought, except it's not green, so that's yay for me. Interesting thing about sodalite is it was used by Mesoamerican cultures as a form of currency, we believe, because it's been found at a lot of trade hubs. Um, it's got this cool mix of like blue and white and orange. Very pretty. Yeah, it is found as veins in lava flows, which is cool. And another igneous rock. I think you might be seeing a bit of a bias here, although I also do live near a bunch of active volcanoes. Don't worry, I am outside of lahar flows, so that's nice. This one is calcite. Calcite comes in a bunch of different colors, which, like I talked about, color is not a very reliable way because it's super easy for just the tiniest little bit of something to get in and change the color. But calcite, you can see it's got this conchoidal fracture, and then also it's got this nice cubic. So this is hematite. It's basically raw iron ore. Very cool. This one can actually give you heavy metal poisoning if you eat it. Most rocks are actually safe to eat, fun fact, because most are silicates, which means they're made out of oxygen and silica, so they can damage your lungs if you inhale their dust. But if you eat them, you'll just, they'll just kind of go through your, um, digestive system and come out the same. So that's cool. Got some unprocessed iron. It's magnetic, heavy. See, it's got the trigonal crystals. Very cool. Metallic luster. It's got that shininess, although this one is polished. This is another one that I bought. Most of the, if you see fancy crystals are polished, that means I bought them. I'm not quite the level of rockhound where I can find the good stuff. There is a geology bar exam, and it is called Ass Bog, so yay. Okay. This is snowflake obsidian that has little bits of quartz in it, which means that it's not a pure glass, so you can't make tools out of it like you can regular obsidian. But look at how pretty she is. Look at that. It's called snowflake obsidian because it's got these little white flecks. Normally obsidian is a black glass with conchoidal fractures that can be made into incredibly sharp tools. Yeah, mine doesn't quite have the nice snowflake polka dots. It's more stripy. This is unakite, which is a type of jasper. A lot of these fun multicolor rocks are jaspers. It's metamorphic. It's got these cool green and orange splatches. Really like that, like a coral orange. Really popular for use as like beads and decorative things. It's a mix of green epidote and pink feldspar. So this is kyanite, which is probably one of the more rare minerals I have, which is cool. It's got this really cool bladed cleavage. It's got all these sharp things all pointing in one direction. It's blue. It's used a lot for industrial things because it can withstand really, really high heat. So it's used a lot in furnaces and kilns. Spiky. It gives off very aggro vibes, which I think is kind of fun in a rock. This one's got, a little bit of quartz in it, which is cool. I always love inclusions. Yeah, it appears in quartz veins with high grade metamorphism. So this is some shale that I found in a riverbed along with some other rocks I will be talking about later that are very cool. And it's got this really nice black stripe, and I'm not quite sure what that is. But probably something igneous. That's what you get a lot of the time when you see these veins. Yeah, shale is a sedimentary rock, which I don't have a lot of because frankly I find them very boring. It's just, bits of really, really small grains of mud that were cemented together. These are both red jasper. This one I bought, and this one, facilities manager was helping me with the group project, and he had a bunch of scrap rocks from a project he was working on, so he gave us some slabs, which is very nice of him. Shout out Ben, he's the best. Yeah, more jasper, but this time it's red. Got these cool quartz inclusions. This one also has quartz, but then also has the black veins. I think it's so cool when rocks have little transparent bits and you can see their inside. Yeah, red jasper is another one. A lot of iron, used in gemstones a lot. Very cool. And you can see the patterns where it was used on the ceramics cutter. And then this is the raw backside. Very, very globby, which is nice. It's very fun. This is shungite. This is another one that was a gift from Ben. Although we were kind of just taking out trash for him that we wanted. Shungite is a carbon mineral. So it can be, a lot of different things. Most things are algae if they're based on carbon. Again, you can see the ceramic cutter marks, but it's just cool black. It's very shiny when it's wet. It's got these itty bitty little growth lines. It's not growth lines, but like you can see the one-dimensional cleavage or something. I'm not sure. I am not an expert in this one. And I also like the shape that it broke into, the, I don't know, very sleek. These, I believe, are all brown, very low grade brown aventurine. You can see where it kind of broke, and it's got more of that kind of yellowy color, a bit more sparkle. These are all ones that I found, but they look very similar, especially on the inside. This one is just the most weathered. Yeah, same as the other aventurine. It's a quartz with some mica, but just a different color. A piece of drifted that one of my classmates found but didn't want to haul back to the vans, so I took it. It's hollow, which is pretty cool. Let's see, I might have to, I don't want to adjust the camera and mess up my framing, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And I keep it with the rest of my rocks because I found it on a geology field trip. Yeah, I tell other people in other majors that, oh yeah, we go on a lot of field trips, and they're always so jealous. And it's like, it's not as fun as it sounds. We did, oh my god, we did so many pebble counts. Pebble counts, in case you don't know, are when you measure the size of usually about 100 rocks in a line perpendicular to a beach, and then you do a bunch of math to figure out like the average size and stuff. These are shells, which again are not rocks, but this really cool thing where they've been sanded like sea glass, so they've got this like dull smoothness that I think is really cool. And also, generally you don't want to take shells from the beach so that they can be used by crabs, but these ones are pretty much unusable. They're pretty broken. But I just think that their erosion, the way that these shells were eroded, is very cool. How they're like living sea glass. Okay, this is basalt. Super common igneous rock. It's everywhere. The cool thing about it is that basalt is what the hexagon columns are made out of. If you've ever seen either in real life or in video games, like Giant's Causeway is kind of the most famous example of all these layers of hexagonal towers. They're made out of basalt. It's one of those things where once you learn the science behind it, it's less interesting. That's just the shape of its crystal structure, so it likes to harden, cool into that shape. Yeah, this one's not super interesting. Again, I think when it was wet, it was like a super shiny black. Got a little bit of maybe some mica in it there, but it's just really smooth. Feels nice to hold in my hand. These are pretty cool. These are some plant fossils I found on a field trip. I did get them legally because a lot of parks you're not supposed to take fossils home. This area, plant fossils are super common, so we were allowed to take plant fossils home, but if we found any animal fossils, we would hand those over to the school. These are in the same shale mudstone. It's the other one. It's super fragile. Like you'd be walking around on the beach and the rocks would just be like crumbling under your feet. It was pretty cool. You've got this one, which is like a leaf. It broke. Again, super fragile rocks. And you've got this one, which is more of like kind of a fern pine tree kind of shape. No idea how old they are. Actually, maybe they're like, I want to say like 40 million is how old that formation is, because this is one where there is a hill made out of the fossil mudstone and then a river cut through it, so all through the riverbed. The riverbed is just like full of fossils. This is desert rose, also known as gypsum. It is very cool. This is a chemical sedimentary rock, also known as a evaporite, which means this is what's left behind when a lake with cool minerals in it evaporates. It's so pretty. I think it's very cool. Yeah, it forms in a lot of arid climates when a lake with sand and gypsum evaporates. This is what you get. Very cool. Okay, so this is amethyst. This is one probably got a long time ago. I have more amethyst kind of scattered throughout the house. I have a ton of it because purple is my favorite color and amethyst is my birthstone, so it's kind of, match made in heaven. Yeah, pretty sparkly purple crystals. It's a type of quartz, fairly common. You can see it's got these this one in particular has these really nice crystal formation, nice and pointy, pretty standard smoky quartz. But these ones have these really cool internal fractures, which actually means I got them on a deal. But you see they got these little rainbows inside. Very cool. And again, I got, because of these imperfections, I got them on a deal. But I feel like a lot of crystal and mineral imperfections are what make them interesting. But yeah, it's got these really nice chunky crystals. You can see that, I want to say, hexagonal shape really well. Oh my gosh. I made a card and just forgot to show you. Behold. Ta-da! There are going to be some later that I didn't make cards for or forgot to make cards for. We will get to those. These are fluorite crystals. Yes, that is like the fluoride they put in the water. Got some greens, some white, and even a little purple one. Now, the way that you identify fluorite is by this really cool, like, diamond shape that it has. Now, the reason why they put fluorite in the water is because our teeth are made of this mineral called apatite. I am not joking, that is what it's called. And fluorite and apatite like to bond to each other. So the fluorite bonds to your teeth and makes them stronger. Yeah, it's the mineral form of calcium fluoride, which is like what's in toothpaste. Late stage mineral in felsic igneous rocks. So like when you've got a rock cooling, this is like one of the last one that forms, which is why the crystals are usually pretty small, because it doesn't have a lot of space left in the rock to grow. So this one is tiger eye's eye. It's another semi-precious stone that's used in jewelry a lot. It's got these really pretty orange stripes, which is what it's famous for. It gets these stripes because it contains asbestos, which is fun. One of my favorite stories is in one of my classes. I believe that's when we were having our crystal habit lab. Part of it was the teacher, professor, passed around asbestos in a plastic sandwich baggie. As geologists do not believe in personal safety. But yeah, it's really pretty common to see in shops because it's very popular as like jewelry. Yeah, it's got that like iridescence. This is petrified wood. I don't really know a ton about this. Is one I got at a store, so I don't really know a ton about like what wood, where it came from, but yeah, this one isn't quite as opalescent as some other petrified woods, but it's got this really pretty blue and orange color. There are a couple different ways trees can get petrified, but common denominator is that the organic material gets replaced with minerals. A lot of the time it's kind of varieties on opal, so they can be almost like, you can have that gemstone iridescence. Mine doesn't, but this is labradorite. This is a gift from my uncle who lives in Hawaii, hence the turtle. It's got some beautiful iridescence. It just glows. It's another mafic igneous rock, so it forms from things slowly cooling under the crust. And it's, yeah, just so pretty. This is Imperial Jasper, which is just kind of another different color of jasper. This one is really pretty light blue and white. Again, it's, slight, a little bit of tainting can change the color. It's got a little bit of some transparency. Very cool. Very pretty light blue turquoise color. Yeah, looks like clouds in the sky. This is a hunk of marble I got from Ben. Marble is metamorphic rock. It's got a bit of a shimmer. Not a ton though. It's mostly just from how it was cut. It doesn't really have a ton. I mean, there's a little bit of mica in the black, but not a ton. That's where usually the sparkliness in rocks comes from, is mica. I don't have any mica. I should get some because it can look really cool. And you can see there's some iron here. One I could just not for the life of me figure out what it is. It is purple. I found it on a riverbed. I like purple. Yeah, I got nothing. Maybe a blue schist with a lot of iron in it? I don't know. This is one where it'd be pretty cool to run some tests on it because I have no idea what this could be. Here is an andesite porphyry. That's when you've got a lava flow that goes over other pieces of rock and it like breaks up the crystal and absorbs it, and it's just kind of a mess, and it's got all these little inclusions. You can kind of see them. Is citrine. I missed it when I was making the cards. I didn't see it in my bag. Yeah, pretty yellow crystal. That's another type of quartz, but it's yellow. This is yellow opal. It's a type of opal. Mine doesn't have the opalness that other opals do. Opalescence, you might say. Opals are not technically minerals, they're mineraloids because the iridescence that most opals have is caused because the layers are like slipped on each other, so they don't technically have the like perfect crystal structure, but I think that's what makes them cool. Here are some just like quartz rocks that I found cool. These ones are these really cool craggy texture, probably a lot of freeze thaw, which is when water gets in the cracks of a rock and then expands as it cools, making all these big cracks. This is one we could not figure out what it is. We think it's some kind of quartzite type thing because it's got this weird yellow outside and then on the inside these really weird crystal shapes. So kind of generally you default to quartz because it's super common. This is some granite I did a bunch of research on. I know the exact elemental chemical makeup of this rock. I believe we named him Jerry. Yeah, it's granite. It's a felsic volcanic rock. Professor didn't remember where we got him from. You've got some feldspar, some quartz, some mica. It's even got a little bit of thorium in it, and potassium in the mica. So it is technically radioactive, which is very cool. I like telling people I have thorium and uranium. Yeah, this is Jerry, I believe. I will check my notes.